Hello Scorpio, this is going to be your October 2019 reading. Scorpio, if you'll excuse me, when I do a lot of readings I get a little tired. So if you'll be patient with me this month, I'd appreciate it. The readings can be a lot. Third eye. This card popped out when I was doing a shuffle, so I wanted to leave it there. I believe we have a full moon on the 13th, and in some of my other videos I did mention just some little happenings astrologically. Also, I'll leave that card a surprise. I mentioned that this month these will be guidance readings. So I'm not really going to try to look into one specific area. You can apply it. I don't know why, Scorpio, I need to shuffle for you again. You can apply it wherever you feel it needs to go, or if there's something that's really coming out. But otherwise, I really believe that the last half of 2019 was going, I think I talked about it in August, was going to be a lot. So really what I want to focus on is trying to get you the best advice for you, so you can try to get through these last couple of months. Scorpio. Some people trying to give you some advice because they are looking at a situation in your life and they want to talk to you about it. They want to dig in there and let you know. And I don't see you being particularly interested in their opinion. You know, people are like that. You're feeling depleted. Some of you are feeling depleted. And again, if this is not your reading, it's fine. Just let it go. You're feeling depleted. Someone around you may have let you down or may have made some promises to you, and this really forced you to rethink a situation. This could have been business. Maybe you had some plans on the horizon. This could have been school. Maybe you were promised some kind of a transfer. Of course, the obvious, it could have been love. And for some of you, you may have been really waiting for something to come in. You still do have some options somewhere in here, Scorpio, but you know, if you're right in the middle of stressing about something or waiting for it, you just may not be ready to, you just may not be there yet. Sometimes when we're in the middle of grieving something or we're upset over something, we're just, our perspective isn't there yet. Or this may have set you back to square one, where you thought you were, in the middle stages of something being successful or coming toward the end, and now you're right back at the start. So you may be having to reevaluate how you can do this on your own, or having to see what your resources are, where you can pull something from nothing. And this puts you in a really difficult position. I've been giving examples in the readings. If you were, let's just say you were about to get married and that didn't go through, well, that's a lot. Now you're thinking, where do I live? How do we work this out? How do we divide our stuff? If you were about to make travel plans, how do I get that money back for the ticket? How do I explain to people that I'm not going. If it's, building a business, what do I do with these loans? How can I go it alone? Can I make that trip alone? Can I support the expenses of this new apartment alone? Can I build this business by myself instead of the partners that I had that dropped out? If you're in college, I thought I would have a job to go to in this new state. When I attended this school, the job fell through. Can I go anyway? And you're confronting a lot of fears between October and November. And one of those fears may be you thinking, I may have to just cut all of this loose and leave it behind. Unless someone sort of so you're sort of caught between a fantasy and reality, hoping maybe something will go through, and also hoping that whoever screwed you over gets theirs. But again, there's a lot of hope here. Maybe someone will extend a loan, maybe someone will come through, maybe. You really don't want to let these circumstances go, because to you this represented a new chapter, and the thought of letting that go doesn't just represent to you maybe a failure now, but a long-term sort of a thing. You really felt that this was really, again, if it was a business, you felt this was something that would go very far. If this was a commitment, this was something long-term. If this was school, you thought this would lead to training that would be the career path that you were on. This was about your whole world, bringing it all together into a lot of successes. And now you're stuck juggling some things that I think in your heart of hearts you can't handle by yourself, but there's that want to do it. Scorpio, it's okay. I just talked to, I think, Aquarius about this, but it was really in more of a mental and emotional sense. It's okay to come to the conclusion, not easy, but okay, to come to the conclusion that something just didn't work out, and that it was out of your control. That's okay. I know Scorpios they like to control things because they're strong, but sometimes it's just not that sort of a thing. So there was an escalating situation here, Scorpio. And what I have on the board here is that it does look financial, or something that would affect you at some point financially, but it looked like the problems were small at first. Maybe things you thought you could handle, and then eventually they got to be overwhelming. Something just became overwhelming. And I think you were trying to put on a brave face, and then this situation just got so far out of control. This could have even been, for some of you, these may have been personal demons. They could have been basic things, maybe you needed to put a little bit of your savings out on the table for something and you thought it would work out, and you kept thinking, this will get better, and even when it wasn't, you just kept going. There was just a failure to recognize somewhere that this thing was going south. You just really wanted to continue to breathe life into this thing and believe that you could control the outcome. You need a change in perspective. Tower coming up. You need to understand, Scorpio, that the way this situation started out, that's over now. The situation has changed. What you were dealing with, or your original vision for this, it isn't that way anymore. And the sooner you can get there, the better off you will be. So we have a King of Swords and a Queen of Swords reversed right next to each other. Not only do you know in your heart of hearts that this situation is drastically different, but so do the other people involved. Whether this is a partner, people that you're in business with, maybe it's a professor, maybe you got into one major and you realized part of the way in you can't do this, or you are not cut out for this. Whoever is on the other side of this, they know it and you know it. And there is recognition by all parties, even if it hasn't been spoken out loud, that this situation cannot go any further. At least not in the shape it's in now. It cannot be. This is not going to be a fruitful situation. It's not going to yield anything. You either have to change the way you think about it, do it differently, or understand that you have to start on a new project. Your perspective about this is still a little bit, you're still kind of holding on to a notion about maybe it can be salvaged. It's not. It's not. Either there's been too much under the bridge that's gone on, or you're going to hold yourself back. But there's no profit to be made. There's no saving the situation. At least not the way it's going now. So the sooner you see it for what it is, the better off you'll be. That's what you need to do, Scorpio. And you also need to understand that this was not your fault. Something happened outside of you where the situation just was not going to continue. This card it wants to come out. Seven of Scepters coming up quite a bit. You know, these are foundation cards. Yep, there's conflict. But the conflict is so deep, it's talking about rocking that foundation underneath you. You know, being a slave to your emotion. You know, you really need to change I'm saying it again and again, you need to change your perspective. Again, a lot of conflict between the main people that make this thing go. You may have even come to an impasse. You may have even just realized, I mean, this could be family too. You may have come to a conclusion that you and your family or your partner are just fundamentally too different to continue. These could be big issues. These could be religious issues. These could be social issues. These could be, you know, anything where you're just the gap is too big, you know, where you just can't continue being that close anymore or being involved. This is a train of thought but on a central issue that's, it's too important. These may be old ideas. This is definitely about old ideas that need to die. But you may not, this is not something where you may be able to change the other person's mind. So, if somebody has changed the way they feel in a relationship, you cannot change that. If this is about religion, politics, ideologies, those are not things you can get in there and wrestle with someone about. You have to just accept them for what they are. Too much on the board, Scorpio. You have to let this one go. But again, it's not your, if you just believe a different thing than somebody else, or again, if they're just feeling differently, or if something has just run its course, that has nothing to do with something being your fault, with you failing. It's just, some things just, it is what it is. And I know it's not that simple, and it's a very difficult idea to, to take on, especially if you had a long-term thought about something. And especially if you have people in your ear giving you advice, you should do this, you should do that. They're trying to be helpful, and it becomes all the more confusing, but you really want to. So we have some beautiful cards for you, Scorpio, to end. Trust, opportunity, and a year from now. I think if you can accept this new change coming in, even though it doesn't feel great right now, and you will allow that change to come in, and you will trust what the universe is giving you, which doesn't always feel great, it will open these opportunities up. And, in a year, in under a year, in a little over a year, you will be in a different place. Bottom of the deck, it's up to you. You'll be in a completely different place. But it's difficult, And if they're people we love, or we're close with, or we've been in contact with, it's hard. The idea of separating from people like that, that's hard. Scorpio, if you like this reading, you can subscribe, you can hit the like button, you can comment. But, more importantly, just go off and enjoy your life, make it the best life for you. And we'll talk to you soon. Talk to you in November. We'll continue this then. Take care.